everyone, and welcome to Zest with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, I am super excited to welcome Jamie London Wollberg. He is a leader of love, burnout recovery specialist, and intimacy expert, as well as the visionary founder of Wellbeing. Jamie has spent years guiding leaders, innovators, change makers out of the spiral of burnout and back into alignment, helping them deepen intimacy with themselves so that they can thrive in business and life. As a Reiki master teacher, intuitive empath, speaker, author, creative force behind transformative tools like the self-love audit and the Wake-In wellness deck, as well as I'm sure so much more, Jamie is truly here to help us all wake up to love, purpose, and possibility. I know that in this episode we will dive into the power of self-love as well as the foundation for leadership, resilience, and fulfillment. It's soulful, it's practical, and it's exactly what many of us need right now. I am so excited for you to meet him. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you so much for having me, Shel Marie. Seriously, that's the best intro anyone's given me. I might have to steal it.
You are so welcome. Wow, just reading your bio, I know a bio doesn't even doesn't even summarize the full context of a person and all you've encompassed and all you've done, but you really are making so many magnificent moves, I believe. And I know you're only just getting started, because I know you have a really big vision for wellness centers as well, which I'm sure we will talk about. So with that in mind, where did this all start? Have you always been like this, or was there like a turning point in your life?
There was definitely a turning point. I was definitely not always like this. I think that today's children maybe have always been, like this, but for an older millennial, absolutely not. I came on this journey because I was clearly designed for this journey, and I believe that I, on a soul level, chose to have a transformational journey where I would embody my own challenges and experiences, figure out how to transform through it, and then help others on the same journey. And there's a deep belief I have that really everyone within their own secret sauce, within their own gifts, their own mission and journey, that's what we're all here to do. We're all lifting up the people who are about to go through the thing that we've gone through to help them, and the cycle continues and we grow and expand. So my journey really started from health, ultimately, and living inauthentically and burning out 10 ways to Sunday. There's so many different types of burnout. I think that the automatic burnout that people think of is career or caretaker burnout. Those are huge, but they're not the only types of burnout that there are. And when I was in my early 20s, I found myself bedridden at the bottom of the barrel, lost the love of my life, the child I thought I was adopting, the life I had created, envisioned for myself. And I realized it was all a lie, in a manner of speaking. I was assigned female at birth, and I was starting to realize that I was a queer, trans, non-binary person. I was not spiritual. I was raised in a very non-traditionally, non-religious household, Eastern European Jews on both sides, surrounded in an area of New York that's very Jewish and very religious. And that paradox really left me with not a lot of guidance. And so I really felt completely disconnected. Now I know that I'm autistic, so that explains a lot of the disconnect and also the gender dysphoria and the body dysmorphia. I felt like a soul kind of floating in my body, but I couldn't really make sense of it. And so I was incredibly angry, and I ended up with a lot of chronic illnesses that stem from Lyme's disease, and I was bedridden. I spent pretty much my 20s and half of my 30s navigating my health journey, and it became this tri-awakening where I finally had this moment where I tried to connect to something higher than myself. I quite literally prayed and begged for things to be better, with the promise that if I could get out of bed and I would live my life authentically, I would figure out how to heal myself and then help others. What is true for me, that has always been true, is that I have been told, even in retrospect from adults much older than me, parents and otherwise, that from a super early age it was clear I was a nurturer. I did not care about Barbies. I wanted to have Cabbage Patch dolls, and I would dress them up in actual diapers and the whole thing. I was a born nurturer. So the question became, why am I someone in my 20s who's bedridden and completely miserable, suicidal, and not living authentically? And I know I'm here to help people. How do I even do that? And it was that question that allowed me to access my higher self, to connect with God's source, to really realize that I was here to anchor unconditional love. And that passion and purpose kept me alive. It gave me the opportunity to choose to stay here and to go on this journey. And here I am now.
Amazing. I'm so happy to hear that, Jamie. And thank you so much for just being so open, so raw, so real, so transparent, because I know even though I can feel your heart and really who you are now, and I know it's still an unfolding journey for all of us, it's still tapping back into that version and speaking about it isn't always as easy, because it still is. It's almost like we mourn that person, and even different versions of us we mourn. So to completely change very much the way you physically look, and whatever else you've gone through, that must have been a really, really massive, pivotal point in your life. So thank you so much for really sharing that. And before we dive into all the incredible impact and everything you're creating, I just think, like, round this time now particularly, and it's only if you would like to explore it, but round this time now where there are many people that are very confused, and what I love that you mentioned is whether you recognize that straight away or afterwards, that you recognize that you were kind of, you said, like a soul just floating about, unsure. The thing that I think about now, which I think you are the absolute perfect person for, as we say, leading the way for others, is, even though 20 still could be considered very, very young, but like what you said, you sat with that, you really sat with that, and lay with that, and really connected back to yourself, it sounded like, and obviously everything you were experiencing. But the thing that I'm sure lots of people are always a little not worried about, but with the younger generation and their minds being very young, creative, we all want to be like a superhero or something like that. No one wants to just be a normal girl or a normal boy. It's boring. How can you take what you've been through and owning it and honoring it, but also being that guiding light and that role model for maybe the younger generation who maybe haven't really thought carefully about it? Because I can imagine it was a big change for you, and I think there's always that little worry when we kind of bring these things to the minds of very creative younger ones. We don't want also them getting caught up in that when they're just discovering themselves, because we're all discovering ourselves. So, like, obviously if you don't have anything to answer for that, but I just feel like as you've gone through it, like, I just think it's really important for us to always think of, like, the younger generation and how we're being role models to them.
Absolutely. No, I'm happy to speak to it. I love children. I have always connected with children. Children connect with me, and it's something that I do think a lot about. I absolutely sat with this for a long time. It didn't
Yeah.
even really occur to me until so late in the game. And then by the time I was 24, I started to socially transition. And
Yeah.
then when I was 25, medically transition. So there was
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of time of sitting with it. So the thing that I say to youth and to parents who come to me with these
Mm.
questions, because they do. And I'm frankly, I'm honored and flattered
But that's
that
what I mean. Like, I really wanted you to see this as like, I'm really honored to have this conversation with you right now because what better person to have this? Yeah, it's incredible. Sorry, please continue.
oh yeah, it's all about slowing down.
Yeah.
And the thing that happens is once you realize it's so intense, and
Mm.
there's especially when there's layers of this misery and what feels truly like deep suffering,
Mm.
it's a desperation to solve for it. And so what happens is they go like 0 to 60. Now, to people around me, it looked like this was really fast. But when I tell people my story, I went to family therapy. I was in therapy for 6 months in addition by myself, which I was already doing, but specifically focused on my transition before I did
Mm.
anything medical. Anything medical. And I was going to
Yeah.
therapy, I think, twice a week. I was
Wow.
watching videos. I was reading about transitioning. I was talking to other trans people. I was really diving deep into this to make sure that I was sure.
Yeah.
And even in my own journey on this has changed so much. I think what's powerful about the youth now is the access and awareness they have
Yeah.
is 50 times what even I had at the time. I mean, it's mind-blowing how much this is such an open conversation now.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
challenge is that it's so politicalized. And yesterday was actually my 11-year anniversary. And I
Wow.
made a post about the importance of not politicizing my journey because I'm just Jamie and I just want to be happy and
Yeah.
healthy and loving and I just want to be able to serve. And so that requires me to be my authentic self. What I say to parents is look at how old the children are and where they are
Mm.
in their stage of development and their life with the recognition of a couple of things. My awareness and how late I transitioned was a lot to do with what I had access to,
Yeah.
what I was aware of. It probably would have happened much sooner because when my parents and I were sitting on the couch in front of the therapist with our hands in our laps, we were mind blown because we were realizing how many things were connecting over time, right? Going through all of these
Mm.
ways of who I was and who I always was. And it was just,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, duh. Like, so how were we the last to know? So these kids are super, super aware. Now, awareness does not always immediately translate to I know and I understand. And there's a
Mm.
difference between understanding, which is the I know, which is I understand that trans non binary people exist, that there's a spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
that there's socially transitioning, that there's medically transitioning, that it looks different for everybody, and that I need to make sure that I'm really sure because
Yeah.
people detransition. And I'm happy that that narrative is being shared a lot more because it's super important to see how people who rushed in, some of them do, but it is a small fraction
Yeah.
because that understanding translates to understanding when you go within, which is what Waken is about. It's about that
Mm.
living authentically, meeting yourself, connecting with yourself, so that way you can make the best decisions that are aligned for
Amazing.
you. So, what they need guidance with is that process. And to help them slow down is to support that process.
Mm.
When parents come to me with very young children who are like 2, 5, preteens, and they're wanting to explore this, I say, well, they don't have to have surgery tomorrow. Like
No.
there's 50 things you
Yeah.
can do before that. And they may decide to never have surgery. If they
Mm.
want to play with a name, well, maybe they play with a name. If they want to wear a dress or a suit or a tie or
Yes.
purple, or they want to spike their hair or whatever, like hair grows back, clothing
Yeah.
can be replaced. These things can feel like a blip to them. It's only to those who are older where it feels so long and so massive. But
Mm.
life is so much longer now, even though life is, of course, still short. So the best thing I can say is to slow down. And part of what helps that is to give them the love, help them to feel seen
Mm.
and to respect their journey. If you acknowledge that, then they're not going to feel this need to resist. Because at the end of the day, every single human wants to feel belonging,
Yeah.
wants to feel seen and heard and loved unconditionally for who they are, and they want to be able to do what it is they love for the world. That is core for every human being. And
Yeah.
providing that allows for that slowing down, that pacing, because the therapy is important and the conversations are important. And now there are books. I mean, like, I was at my cousin's recently. She has a son who's about to be 6, and the books that they have of just even
Mm.
different races and ethnicities and shapes of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that. We didn't have that. So it's really just about slowing down and honoring the process and acknowledging it's very different and utilizing
Absolutely.
resources.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. And even in the sense of, having two dads, two mums, I think we really need to, like, just particularly from my teaching background, like, there's so many people, and it's mummy and it's daddy, and it's not mummy and daddy now. Like, I think we really need to get with this. Love is love. And as you say, like, someone that's going to go to to certain stages in their life or create certain outcomes, I think we should give a little bit more credit to actually them knowing themselves, and like what you say, sitting with themselves. And do you know what? We all have to sit with ourselves at some point, whether we like it or not, whether that, we, whatever we want to refer to ourselves as, it's irrelevant. It's the fact that the more we sit with ourselves, the more we know ourselves. And even that alone is a lot. A lot of people don't even want to do that. But I love that that was something that you particularly said was a part of the therapy, because yeah, absolutely, that's really, really important and key. Thank you so, so much. And I love that you said about your waking, of how, you are becoming that pillar now, and you are able to integrate this into all that you're doing. Um, because often, again, like, we hope not most people, but usually what we go through, I know it's a saying, but it does come to life. We grow through, and often I think people kind of then, I think you should openly address it. You should be proud of you and your journey and who you are, because again, there's almost like this I'm a girl, I don't want to say, and it's like, be open about it. Own it. It's you, it's your journey. And I think it's beautiful. And I don't want, again, for it to be like, when, I know this is way, way back, but when even being gay was like a in the closet thing. Like, the moment the skeletons come out the closet, you open it wide and you allow people to know you, the truthful you. They've got nothing on you, because you are you. So thank you so much for that, Jamie. And yeah, I just thinking about your self-love audit. Um and or just anything that you're creating or doing that you feel like someone listening right now would really benefit from hearing about. Because I know you've got so many fabulous things that you're doing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, the self-love audit is my pride and joy. It was something that I do not give myself credit for, in terms of I felt that this was gifted to me by something much larger and higher. It was something that I channeled in, because anything having to do with an audit and a questionnaire was not something that I would actually choose or want to do. And I was like, what is this? I don't like it. And it has become something so powerful. What I do give myself credit for is to having the courage to bring it into reality anyway, and to have guided over 65 to 68 of them.
Wow. And that was another thing I held back, making sure I'm listening. But if you are the one that's going to answer the call and listen and do that work to put it into society, you should get the credit because, as they say, I remember a really funny thing that I heard once about Michael Jackson used to wake up in the middle of the night and say, we need to write this, we need to do this song now because if not, someone else is going to do it. I can't remember who exactly it was he said, but it was someone else famous. And I just remember that every time you don't answer and it isn't like this rushing, running thing, someone else will get the idea. How many times have we had an idea and then you see it come to life through someone else? So absolutely give yourself credit. Amazing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, as a collective consciousness, effectively, all of the ideas already exist, and it's whatever comes into our alignment.
Absolutely.
And the self-love audit is definitely something that is in alignment. It is a free, zero strings attached offer.
Wow.
Some people tell me that I am, I mean, they've used all sorts of words to describe the choice that I've made to do this, but I feel very strongly about it because the self-love audit is an analytical look at your performance personally and professionally based on the balance within your body on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level.
Wow.
Physical being anything in the meat suit, mental being anything I think in the processing in the mind, systems, and emotional body, anything in the heart, I feel any of those sort of emotions. And then the spirit being your soul, your higher self, anything more, the extra, God, source, the more, the universe, whatever it is that resonates with you. And in doing this, you get to see what is strong and what is needing support within you because all of these bodies make up the wholeness of who you are. And in order to live authentically and to be out of burnout, you will need to be balanced at all times. And the balance sometimes looks like a flow, right? There's nothing that is a strong go, otherwise you're not growing.
Exactly.
That said, there's a way to be balanced even when out of balance. And so it is literally 5 questions repeated 4 times within each of the bodies. I personally guide it. It is a private, completely safe container.
Wow.
And I do all of the typing along with the AI that picks up anything that my little fingers can't type up fast enough.
Thank you, AI.
Yes, thank you, AI, to give perspective to where you are now. It's a snapshot. And what happens is that people have this incredible breakthrough. And by the end, they realize this is what's going well. This is what's not going well based on this feels good. This doesn't feel good. And then they have actual goals for how they want to improve each of the bodies to come into balance. And it's quite literally one of those things that you will never look back because you can't unsee it. Once you've taken the self-love audit, and I've done it for a couple of people multiple times after a strong period of time, especially my clients that are in programs, because it literally shows you, it spells out for you how you did. And there is a number scale. It's not like a test because that's not what it's for, but it will definitely show you where you've been tested and where you are also resilient. And I find that people come out of this experience with incredible clarity and courage to go forward. And it's very emotional. There are people that are crying on the call, very common. There are people who start laughing because they see something that they've been trying to see in therapy for decades and has just come to the surface. And what happens is people realize that it's not about personal or professional, it's all your life. It's all you. You are still you. even though we may show different shades of who we are, right? We're all multifaceted,
Yeah.
and we may not show all of who we are all the time. That can be exhausting. But that doesn't mean that you need to be lying about it, and certainly not to yourself. And there's a big difference between being my whole self and then say I'm interacting with a 5-year-old. Well, I'm not going to talk to a 5-year-old the way that I talk to
Yeah.
someone who's my age. I'm about to be 37. Like, that would be silly, right? So we can be the wholeness of who we are, and in doing that we actually thrive in a way that we never thought was possible, because
Wow.
most of us were raised with this idea of we must suppress who we are
Mm.
in one way, shape, or form. And that doesn't matter your gender or your race or your part of the world. It may become more extensive in certain areas depending on those circumstances. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we all
Absolutely.
really want the same core things for ourselves and for the world.
Well, I can see why you're a leader of love, because I just feel nothing but, yeah, beautiful love coming from you. And I want to do this self-love audit. It sounds incredible. And when you first said it, like, I guess, that's just the mind, but like I was assuming it's like, you click on, go through the questions, but you actually do it in person. This is like, wow. So because of that, all those beautiful seeds and transformation you're planting, as well as everything else you're doing, your wellness centers are coming to you 100%. And I'm super excited for you. And wow, I know we've probably not even touched on the surface of half of what you do, but that alone is just shows the love in your heart and how much you care about people. Amazing. So just with that in mind, because this isn't an interview, it's a co-creation. If there's obviously anything that you would really love to share that you are doing or offering for anyone listening right now, then please feel free to share.
I would love to. I'm loving where the conversation is going. I love the flow of it all. I feel that co creation is so much about the intuitive nature of what happens. I never know what people are going to ask me, I never know where the conversation is going to go. I just know that 99.9% of the time, I feel called to remind people how loved they are and how
Mm.
worthy they are, and speak directly, because that inner child that is so eager and so curious and so
Yeah.
excited and so shy and scared and vulnerable is wanting so much to be healed and revealed and played with. And I want anyone who is receiving this, at whatever point you are, I firmly know it's at the exact divine moment that you're needing this message.
Yeah.
You are here for a very special reason. You are here to be exactly who you are, and that is who everyone needs. That is what will truly be celebrated. And the voices, the scary monsters in your head, are actually not as rough as what is in the world around you. And if you shut off your social media for a minute and you sit with yourself and you go into nature and you just witness the existence that is everything, you will remember how simple things are. You will remember how much everyone is just doing their best. That we're all adult babies trying to figure it out, that we're all souls floating around, and there's really no right or wrong way. There's just the way that's best for you.
Yeah.
And you will feel supported, you will find community, and people will realize your value. It starts with you realizing your value. What's happened in society now is that we have woken up. It's happened much more than a lot of people give credit to. We are awake. And if we choose to say that people are just all asleep, then that's what we're going to see and what we're going to believe.
Mm.
Not what's real. One of the examples I love to use, and this is a spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen Love Actually, but to be fair, Love Actually has been out for a really long time, and go see it if you haven't. But Love Actually opens with this powerful airport scene, and the concept of this scene is you are witnessing people leaving and meeting each other at the gate. And it's really expressing that love is all around. That
Mm.
is the premise, is people are connecting with one another. It doesn't mean that all of these other things are not happening. It just means that also love is happening. And people would not be so angry. People would not hate or feel strongly towards something if they did not love, because they would not care.
Mm.
And if you don't care, there's no reason to get all worked up about something. So it's important to be present with what is and look at the wide spectrum of what is. Because now that you are woken up, now it's about waking into yourself, going within and discovering who you are. Because when you love yourself unconditionally, you will be able to love others unconditionally.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like it's overnight, just a flick of a switch. Doesn't mean that sometimes you won't get mad. Doesn't mean that you have to like everyone's behavior. That's
Mm.
not what unconditional love is. Unconditional love is about respecting the existence of love, the existence of everyone, and that everyone is here doing their best.
Yeah.
It is truly an acknowledgement that when we stop judging, when we stop creating a label, or we start to make something mean something without receiving what someone's intention is, we can actually allow ourselves to be that love and to show up as our strength, to show up as
Mm.
who we truly are, and we feed in the blanks with each other. It's why there's billions of us. Because if we didn't need that reminder, if we didn't need that reflection, if we were meant to do everything and rescue the world all by ourselves, just be one on an island, and
Yeah.
we're not. So when we wake in, then we can love others unconditionally. And when we live in an unconditionally loving world, we will feel that deep sense of belonging. We will feel seen and heard and valued, and we will thrive, providing with what it is that we feel joy to provide.
Mm.
Because what you feel joy to provide, that is your true purpose. That is why you are here. And that is what I live and breathe to promote and provide and support, because that is where the struggling becomes a perspective and just falls away, because there's everything else on the other side of where you are fighting who you truly are.
Mm. Wow. Thank you so much, Jamie. That was amazing. And I know many people will really benefit from hearing that. I appreciate you. I appreciate all you've shared. I usually say if there's anything you feel like someone listening right now would benefit from hearing, please. But I feel like you've really sent a powerful message, and I know many will really benefit from hearing that. Yeah, really, really, really thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for holding the space and co creating in this journey and making it possible for people to share these messages, because there are people who want to hear them, and I know because I wanted to. I needed to hear these messages. And that's why I'm passionate about building the centers, so that we can all share in these messages together.
Yeah, watch that space, because I can already imagine it's going to be truly magnificent. I'm really excited for you.
I'm
Thank
excited for
you.
all of us.
Absolutely.